We live in a world that holds the philosophy, the more the merrier, in the highest regard. This is the philosophy that underpins industrialization, globalism, consumerism, capitalism, and numerous other ideologies prominent in the world today. The philosophy is the more you have of something, the better, whether it be money, food, land, opportunities, associates, etc. This is not an inherently poor philosophy. It is actually one that was quite suited to us once upon a time, when the world we lived in was one of scarcity, a world that spanned over a great period of time, from when we were hunter-gatherers all the way up to the Industrial Revolution. This was a great and necessary philosophy to hold. Resources were scarce, and therefore the more resources you were able to bank, the better, as the prospect of more resources being around the corner was an unstable one. We lived in this world for so long, dating so far back, that the philosophy of the more the merrier is not just entrenched in us culturally, but biologically too. It is a part of our base instincts to want more. However, today, in the world of abundance in which we live, this philosophy has its limits as to when and how it should be applied. Today, it is not always necessary that we accumulate more. More people die as a result of obesity than they do of starvation. More people kill themselves when they have all the resources they need than are killed in conflict, fighting over resources. In this world of abundance, there often becomes a point where more no longer equals better, but in fact can equal worse. This can quite easily be seen through the two aforementioned examples. Another example, though, is through the concept of options. Again, the philosophy of the more the merrier used to always apply when it came to the options we had at our disposal. The more options we had to find food, the better. The more options we had to reproduce, the better. The more options we had to build alliances, the better. However, today, in a world full of options, right at our fingertips, this philosophy has again acquired limits. The more options you have these days, oftentimes the less content you will be in whatever option you choose, as you find yourself constantly in a state of what if at the thought of the other options you neglected. You go to a restaurant with 5 desserts on the menu that all sound delicious. While you indulge in the chocolate cake, you cannot help but imagine, despite your current pleasure, what the cheesecake, or carrot cake, or ice cream sundae would have been like instead. You go on an online dating app. You end up going on a fun date with someone on Saturday night, only to ponder on how a date with the other 5 people you were also speaking to would have ended up. In a world full of options, it is so easy to constantly fall into the trap of never fully being satisfied with what is in front of you because of the thought of the alternatives. As we stated before, though, the philosophy of the more the merrier is not an inherently bad one. Therefore, it is not a case of purposely handicapping yourself so that you have fewer options, but rather finding a way of being selective with your options so that you are content and can appreciate whatever option you end up choosing, and can be satisfied with it regardless of what any alternative, realistic or imaginary, may have been like. You do not have to manufacture a state of scarcity in your life, but remain aware of the dangers that the philosophy of the more the merrier can bring in a world of abundance, particularly as it pertains to the options that present themselves to you in life. Opt with consciousness and commitment, and have a blessed day.